Welcome back to Good Morning Vail. I'm continuing my conversation with Dan Smith of Vail Mountain Rescue. There's always so much to talk about. You guys are always busy. You really don't have a down season.
No, just the mud months. We're a little slow in the mud months, but beyond that, no, it's constant. We were just talking about one of our incidents that's in some magazines now was last November 28th, not the previous November, the one before.
Right.
The two kids on Holy Cross.
Yeah.
They were probably 15 minutes or 20 feet from being dead. They had gone upstream and uphill because they were totally disoriented in a place that was not in our search area. Because it's not logically where people would go. We'd have expanded it to the search area the next couple of days. We would have been looking for bodies. One of our teams found some tracks on a bridge, followed them with a fire suppression aircraft that has a military-grade sensor pod on it, brought in a Black Hawk, picked them up with a Black Hawk. The Hawk happened to be there to pick up our teams as we were extracting them. The team that found the tracks on the bridge was really kind of out of their search area. They were waiting to be picked up, and they moved a little where they shouldn't have been and found the tracks. All these little things, you're betting your life on really tiny variables, and you really don't want to do that.
Well, as I read their story, you know, they were trying to climb Mount of the Holy Cross at the end of November.
Yeah.
And they were thinking they were doing this before some storms were going to come in. But a storm came down on top of them as they were making their ascent.
They looked at 8 weather forecasts and picked the one that said they could climb.
Ah, yeah, I didn't get that part of that story.
They're 17 and 18 years old.
Yes.
Now, this kind of judgment is what group dynamics gets into and what hurts people. They made the ascent. It was fine. They got to the top of the mountain, then a whiteout came in.
Yes.
They lost orientation. They were trying to navigate with an iPhone. Horrible idea. They didn't have a compass. Terribly horrible idea. They didn't have a map. Really bad idea. They had looked at a map. Not the best way to do it.
Yeah.
They had one source of fire and it pooed out on them.
That's right. It got wet, and then they were never able to ignite anything.
I carry my matches, and a Zippo, and the old school Zippo. But I carry them in 3 different places. And I carry military-grade heat tabs in 3 different places. All those items will light it almost underwater, but I'm still carrying 3 sets at 3 different places.
Just to be...
They don't weigh much, but boy, if you're out there without fire, you're toast. And it could get...
And these guys almost were toast.
Oh yeah, their feet were frozen when they brought them out of the helicopter, got in the ambulance, got them to the hospital. They now treat that kind of heavy-duty frostbite with the same drugs they use for strokes. It salvages the most tissue they can. They're walking. They're going to lose some sensitivity in their feet because that nerve damage always stays. But they're doing well. And just everything broke right. In that chain of events, it only takes one thing to break wrong. All of our guys were ready to hike out because that's the way we go in. Bird mechanicals, everybody hikes out, that's fine. They weren't. They didn't have the capability. And they'd been out 3 nights. The 4th night, they're not going to be mobile after that, typically.
Yeah.
And they were the wrong way. They were about 6 miles out of the search area in the wrong direction. It's very hard to pick that. They thought they were on the wrong side, the other side of the mountain.
Yes.
So that the stream was leading their left. But when they got out of the bird, they asked me, how come the stream was running the wrong way?
Yeah.
I said, no, the stream always runs the same way. You were not thinking right. You were cold. You were hypoxic, having been at that altitude for a long time. You were hypothermic, and you were dehydrated, and your brain doesn't work under those conditions. So
and people don't realize that.
No,
and I've seen people get weird just from dehydration.
Your judgment goes to hell in a handbasket. It's really bad if you do that, and that's what happens to a lot of these folk.
Dan, we didn't get to your scorecard, but hopefully you'll come back and next week and we'll talk about it then.
Yeah, we had a good year.
Thank you so much
You're
for coming
welcome.
on.
Take care.
Stay tuned. We've got your weather coming up next.